Hey folks, so I'm just having a nice forest walk and I thought I would take a moment to answer one of your questions that I had over on the gram. And it was a really good question. It was in response to a post that I've just posted, which is just the quote, remember it now, you've got one life, live it. And I had a really brilliant response, which was this question. And it's such a good question because I think a lot of people probably think this, that I thought I would answer it here, and then a lot of you can benefit. So the question was, what is your motivation every day to keep at it? I am lacking in that department unless I have an art show or a display to prepare for. Now, there are many answers, which is one of the reasons why I thought I'm not just going to hit reply on Instagram. This is more deserving of a longer answer. One of the many reasons is that I have the bigger picture as to if I do X, I'm moving towards Y. So if I create my website, which I am needing to do for my business right now, so more people can find me and what I do, that will lead to helping more people. It will lead to more income, which will lead to a better car because my car's very old and very dodgy. So it's that sense of always keeping the bigger picture in mind. So it's not just a case of hang on, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, so it's not just a case of thinking what needs to be done right now. How do I motivate myself to do this boring task? So for example, 90% of what I do is what I love, and there's 10%, or maybe it's a bit more than 10% of the stuff that's just necessary. Your taxes, your bookkeeping. This way, boys. Oh, you want to go down that way? Which way are we going? Okay, so we'll go this way. Okay, we'll go this way. I've got the kids in tow on their bikes. So yes, it's not just a case of going, how can I motivate myself to do this really boring thing, like designing a website, learning how to make a podcast. That was really hard. But because I keep firmly, constantly in mind the bigger picture of why I'm doing it. Gosh, I didn't realise that this is a new thing, starting to film these podcasts so I can put them on YouTube, because lots of you have requested that I do that. It's actually quite achy on the old arm, so I have to make sure it's a short podcast when I do this. So yes, it's not just about the motivation, it's about the bigger picture. So that's one of the reasons. Let me just check, got my little notes here, which I was just scribbling away at when I read that reply on Instagram. Okay, yeah, no, I had said everything there. So that's the second thing, another part of the reason is not just the big picture. It's the belief that I have that we each have a purpose to discover in life. It's like an inner calling is how I'd describe it. I literally feel like my soul just tells me what I want to do. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, it's because when I go to certain places, well, like the forest and the beach, and I watch sunrises in the morning, my soul literally goes, I always do this in the studio, but it does. I feel something that I don't feel when I'm just doing other stuff. So it tells me I need to be out more, tells me I need to be inspired by things. And I also get that same feeling from helping people by sharing either my Instagram knowledge and expertise, or by, sorry, I was distracted, there's a dog coming towards me. He's gone in another direction now. Yes, or, so it's not just inspiring other people. Oh yeah, I said that. So it's, the Instagram expertise, or it's what I'm doing now and what I love doing on my podcast and now on my YouTube channel, which is to document my self-development and the development of my mindset and all things around that, so that you guys, I just don't think this happens very often. I haven't found anyone else sort of doing something similar. There will be people doing something similar, but what I see a lot is people who have already got through it's gone a bit windy, I hope that's not annoying for you. I can hear someone coming on a bike. So it's not just, so it's not a case of me doing all this inner work, all this self-development, and then telling you how to do it. It's providing you an insight on the journey. So I'm sort of meeting you potentially where you're at, where you're also thinking, how do you do this? And I can share, well, I'm investing a huge amount in all my self-development, and I did last year and I'm continuing to this year, and I just think that might just be a bit more helpful to sort of watch someone on the journey, rather than me go all quiet and then come back later and go, I've got lots of answers and I want to teach you. So back to the point, if you're new to this, because starting this on YouTube today, it might mean that I'm getting new eyes. I'm dyslexic. I'm an Instagram artist. Sorry, not Instagram artist. Got distracted by the bike then. I'm an abstract artist, Instagram educator, and so basically part of my dyslexia means that I do go on tangents and I forget what I'm saying and I make up words. So enjoy that. Anyway, should we get back to the point? That was what I was trying to say. I forgot my point. Well, I didn't forget it. I went off on a tangent. So yes, that was it. So yeah, I went off on a tangent about this inner calling and what it feels like. So because I believe we all have an inner calling, an inner purpose, and it's just a case of, I want to use the word waking up, but that's a very spiritual word, and I do believe in that, but I kind of mean tuning in more, tuning in and noticing what you love doing. What does make you feel excited? Because, you know, we're conditioned in society, and we're brought up mostly by parents who have been conditioned by society to be very fearful. And so we get put on a path by teachers, parents, all well-meaning, that makes them think, if I put you on this path, because I can see some of your strengths, or I can see that this equals financially secure life, etc., then I'll feel okay because my kid will be okay. But in fact, what that does is sets us on a path which is going in completely the wrong direction quite a lot of the time. So surrounded by fast bikes then. So I believe that because we all have this inner purpose to, like I said, tune into and start following, that what excites me feels good, and so that's how I know I'm on the right path, because the thing that I'm doing, so painting, helping people, feels so good. I get that little light in here that's like glowing brightly. That tells me I'm on the right path. So that was just a little aside for people going, what do you even mean about it? How do you know you're on the right path? So therefore, my point being, I can fully enjoy the journey and adopt this one life, live it philosophy. I wonder if you kept up with that, because I did get a bit distracted there. Shall I just recap to get to the point? So my belief is we've all got a purpose to discover in life, and when we follow what excites us, we discover how to get on that right path, and therefore when you know that you're on the right path, you can just enjoy the journey. You do go, I've got one life, I'm going to live it, because I know I'm on the path, and I know that's why I'm here. That's why I'm on the planet. Don't need to worry about all the stuff that can just create fear-based thinking. Just follow what I love doing. So that is one of the other reasons why I can adopt, in answer to the original question, this philosophy. And also, what have I written here? The end result is not the thing. Yes. The point being also is that, sorry, it's a bit windy. What do? Do I get that in there? Oh, hang on. Yes, should we go round to the bench on the right? Have our packed lunch? It was a really sunny, warm morning, and it's taken us so long to get out of the house. I think this is going to be a bit of a pronto picnic. Oh, you want to eat on this bench? I don't mind which bench you want to eat at. I kind of think the one by the lake is nicer, but if you're hungry, we can eat now. All right, to the lake. So, yes, this is another critical point. Critical point. Because when I'm saying to you that I keep my eye on the bigger picture, and that is what motivates me, that can be misinterpreted very easily as, oh right, I see, you'll work hard because you just want stuff, and therefore getting bigger things, better cars, whatever is what makes you happy. No way. I have learned, thankfully, at a pretty young age, how acquiring new things does not lead to lasting happiness. It leads to 5 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe even a week of happiness, and then you're on to the next thing, right? I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You really, really want this thing. I mean, a bit like we finally had a holiday last year for the first time in 5 years, only the second time in 10 years. And as soon as the holiday was over, where's the next holiday? Oh, that was amazing, we want another one. So, the attainment of the holiday didn't last. And I suppose that is something that kind of expires, doesn't it? You have the experience and it's over. I'm not going to even rack my brain trying to think of an example. You know what I mean. If you want something really badly, you get it, and then you're on to the next thing. So that can never be the reason that you put hard work into what you're doing, because the end result just doesn't last. So what I have learned is realising that the whole thing of life, let me just get the kids in front of me. Boys, you go ahead, all right? A little natter as you go. Not so much. So yes, back to the notes. Page 5. Sorry, I'm going to make this look really bad by putting it right in front. Okay, here we go. Oh, hang on, this is one. It's to be a journey, that's why I said. Yeah, so basically, what I've learned is to realise the point of life is not about the end result, it's about the journey. And when you can really embrace that and see all the joy in the journey, life changes quite spectacularly. And what I find is it somehow magically pivots you in an even stronger course directly to what you love, and it comes a lot quicker. I'm just going to have to move my bag to the other shoulder because goodness me, is carrying a packed lunch and holding your arm out recording the podcast an achy activity for the shoulder. So that was a little caveat that whilst I keep my eye on the prize, I recognise it's the journey which is the most important thing. And how do I love the journey? Because the other thing with it is you've got to let go of the outcome. Oh, well done, you found the bench. Ooh, a bit squidgy, let's not go slipping over. So you have to enjoy the journey, but let go of the outcome. Because the more you want something, the more you're telling yourself, I won't. Oh yes, because there's no bench anymore. Hilarious. Okay, let me just get these packed lunches out for the kids. Hang on. I brought you. Yeah, I bet you'd be hungry when you got here. Someone was sure they wouldn't want their packed lunch in the forest. Right, hang on. Bottle of water. Right, boys, I'll join you in 2 minutes. I've got the last couple of minutes to go. So I was talking about how you enjoy the journey, because you have to let go of what the outcome will be. Because the more you go, I'll only be happy when I get the big house or the new car or the better job, you're just sending out signals to the world that go, I don't have what I want, I have lack, I'm not happy, I'll only be happy when, and you literally push that further away. It's by accepting that you're happy now, regardless of what your outer circumstances look like, that is really powerful and draws the things that you want to you. If you want to know more about that concept, I suggest you read things like Eckhart Tolle and the Power of Now, The Law of Attraction, those kind of books. Because that's my personal belief. It's a personal belief of a lot of people, but that's where I'm coming from on that. So therefore, I come back to the question that if you're asking, where do you get that drive from? I would check in with yourself and ask yourself firstly, am I truly doing what I love? Kids are okay. Because, and you know if you're doing what you love, because you would do it even if you didn't get paid. For example, like right now, I'm having a lovely walk in the forest, I'm carrying a heavy bag, I'm getting an achy shoulder. I don't have to do any of this. I'm not getting paid to do any of this, but I am so passionate about helping people discover their passion and purpose in their life and design their lives to be exactly what they want it to be. Bit by bit, step by step. It doesn't have to be an overnight thing. It's probably unrealistic for a lot of circumstances and mindsets, but to inch towards what you like doing. I'm so passionate about that because I've been on the journey myself of doing a job that I absolutely hate and then discovering how to do what I love, and now I love it so much I am just completely and utterly fueled by this passion that doesn't require any bolstering. It's just constantly there on a high level. I want to help people not ever be in the situation I used to be in. So my question is, do you actually love what you're doing? So for this question, this person that is a painter by the sounds of it, does this person actually really love painting? Because if they loved it, they would do it without being paid. However, there's another caveat. You might be doing what you love. This person might be like, yeah, I would paint all day long for free. However, there may be a mindset issue going on. Usually a sense of unworthiness, that you are not worthy enough to spend time on painting unless you have something like an exhibition that grants you some imaginary permission, all based on low self-worth. And this is something that pretty much everybody suffers from. I don't think you can get through the kind of society and lifestyles that we're all leading without having a healthy dose of low self-worth. Healthy as in it's normal. It's not healthy. It's not helpful. And so therefore, again, to answer the original question, which was, what is my motivation every day to keep at it? And how on earth, when people are lacking in that department, how am I not lacking that department? It's also because I've done a huge amount of inner self work to realise unworthiness is a huge part of the psyche, and I had a load of it. Even with a positive upbringing and a great mindset, I still had, and I still do, I'm still working on it. Nobody's a finished product, by the way. You're always still working on it. Because you're constantly getting triggers and your life is constantly evolving and giving you more tests and lessons along the way. But when I realised, okay, unworthiness is hugely connected to my motivation to do what I love. Because if I don't feel worthy enough to do it, it doesn't matter how much I love it, I'm not going to give myself permission to. So my answer would be, you maybe need to just check in with yourself and think, why do I feel like I'm not motivated? Keep asking why. Let's see, do I have anything else written down here that was what I was going to say, or have I said it all? If you think it could be a sense of unworthiness, and what's on the last page? Oh yeah, perhaps you need to give yourself permission. If you can justify that action. Oh yeah, no, I've said it all. So that's my answer to the question. I think that I could probably talk for another hour on how I get up and do what I love every day. And perhaps when other thoughts come to me and I think, because inevitably I'll go, I should have mentioned this or that. Then if I do, maybe I'll do a follow-up to this. And also, thank you so much to my, what do you call someone that responds to you on Instagram? Reader? I don't know. But thank you so much to the lovely lady who asked me that question. And if you guys ever think, I don't know how she does that, or I want to know more on this subject, or can you just throw out some advice on this? I'm not the font of all knowledge, but I am incredibly passionate about sharing what has worked in my life. So feel free to send me any questions, and they might turn out into being a podcast stroke. What is this? This is my first YouTube thing. Is this a vlog? One of these. It might be one of these. So let me know if you have any questions, because as you know, I'd only be happy to help. And have a lovely rest of your day. It's Sunday today, so I'm in the forest with the kids, and then I'm heading straight back to bed with a load of books, sticking the candles on. Chill time.